Denial. This defense mechanism involves an individual refusing to acknowledge reality to avoid dealing with painful feelings or events. For example, a person may deny the evidence of a serious health diagnosis to avoid the fear and stress associated with it. While denial can provide temporary relief, it often prevents addressing and resolving the actual issue. Repression. Repression is the unconscious blocking of disturbing thoughts or memories to protect oneself from emotional distress. This can involve forgetting traumatic events from childhood, which might affect behavior and emotional responses without the person being aware. Though repression helps manage immediate stress, it can lead to complex psychological issues if the repressed memories resurface. Projection. Projection occurs when individuals attribute their unacceptable thoughts or feelings to others. For instance, someone feeling hostile might accuse others of hostility. By projecting these feelings, the person can express them without acknowledging them as their own, often leading to relationship conflicts. Displacement. Displacement involves redirecting emotions or impulses from a real source of stress to a safer substitute target. For example, an employee upset with their boss might instead express anger towards a family member, as it feels safer than confronting their boss directly. This mechanism allows individuals to deal with their emotions in a less risky environment, but can harm relationships with innocent bystanders. Reaction formation. This mechanism occurs when a person behaves in the opposite way to their genuine impulses. For instance, someone who harbors feelings of hatred might exhibit overly friendly behavior towards the person they dislike. The aim is to conceal the true feelings under socially acceptable opposites, reducing anxiety about these unwanted impulses. However, it can lead to strained and inauthentic interactions. Regression. Regression involves reverting to behaviors typical of an earlier developmental stage when faced with stress. An adult might throw a tantrum when overwhelmed, mimicking childlike behavior. This temporary retreat can reduce anxiety by resorting to earlier, more familiar ways of handling stress, but it can hinder mature coping strategies in long-term scenarios. Rationalization. This mechanism involves creating reasonable excuses for behaviors or feelings that might otherwise be seen as inappropriate. For example, someone might justify lateness by blaming traffic, even if the real reason was a lack of punctuality. Rationalization helps soften the blow of failure and maintains self-esteem, but can sometimes hinder personal growth. Intellectualization. This defense mechanism entails focusing on facts and logic to detach emotionally from stressful situations. A person receiving bad news might concentrate on the statistical probabilities rather than the emotional impact. While this can prevent overwhelming feelings, it might also lead to emotional disconnect from important personal realities. Sublimation. Sublimation is the process of channeling unacceptable impulses into socially acceptable forms. For instance, someone with aggressive tendencies might take up a sport like boxing. This transformation is generally seen as a healthy way to express impulses and can lead to positive outcomes. Suppression. This is a conscious effort to push disturbing thoughts or feelings to the back of one's mind. For example, someone might choose to not think about an upcoming stressful event until it's necessary. This allows temporary relief, but unresolved issues may resurface. Identification. This involves adopting characteristics from someone perceived as successful or capable in handling similar fears. A young worker might mimic a senior colleague's style and decision-making as a way to cope with job stress. Compensation. People use this mechanism to excel in one area to cover up failings in another. An individual poor at social interactions might focus intensely on excelling academically or professionally to balance their self-worth. Defense mechanisms are psychological strategies used to cope with reality and maintain self-image. While they can provide short-term relief, over-reliance on these tactics can hinder emotional growth and healthy relationships.